Point number 2, saying no to yourself. And you're thinking to yourself, come on, Lilliard. I don't want to deny myself. And I know you read the email. It's probably a fake email because I know I signed off on it, but then I wrote my sermon and I thought and I prayed about what I wanted to say. And I know that you're expecting one of my points to be, so I'm going to tell you that you're doing some things in life you don't want to do. And so I'm going to give you permission of how to say no to them so you can say a resounding yes to other things. I don't know your life. I don't know if you're taking care of your parents or your in-laws, or you have a bad aunt, or you have a troubled this or that. I don't know the intricate part of your life to give you that. And so I also thought one of the things I always kind of pride myself on is that you think I'm going to say something or go a certain direction in my sermon. I like to go like that, just because I like to go like that. Because it also keeps us on our toes. And so saying no to yourself, here's what I mean. And if you're wondering, I see a couple furrowed brows. They're like, get on with it, Lillard, get to the point. If you've never had self-doubt, if you've never wondered if you're good enough, or holy enough, or smart enough, or kind and caring enough, if you're always self-assured about your looks, your weight, and the overall condition of your soul, this point is not for you. I give you permission to take out your smartphone and Google. Ignore me because you have it all figured out. You're all that in a bag of chips. You are vitalized. The rest of you who are like me, who stumble over these things, right here. Okay? Because this might be for you. We are who we believe we are. If you ever wonder, what can I read that I know will be good? Grab something by C.S. Lewis. That dude was great. He had some science fiction stuff where I'm like, I'm not sure about that. But he fills my cup. You have to believe in yourself before anybody else believes in you. This person, anonymous, really smart, thought of a lot of different quotes, but I don't know who to thank. Always remember, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. The great philosopher Christopher Robin. But I need a little bit of sage advice. So, principally, say no to the voices that tell you you're not good enough. Say no if you think you're not worthy of. Say no to the voices that tell you that you will never be and never get and never become. Am I the only one in this room? Am I the only one listening to this? That you ever wonder about these things? We put our shoulders back and we have a confident gait, and then we tell things with authority, and then we're hoping that everyone believes in what you're saying and what you're doing. And if you lead anything, leading is hard. Because we're not perfect, we're not always right, and a lot of people are not good at following. They follow the things they want to hear. Sometimes they want to follow you, and sometimes they just want to go to the front. And sometimes, as the front of this church, I'd like to go to the back too. But you have self-doubt. Do you? I do. When I begin to think that I'm not enough, I think of Jesus and my mom and Joy and Jacob and Rachel and Matthew and Ruby. That's a lot, but I'm going to go one at a time. I'll start with Jesus, my main man. Jesus always thinks I'm awesome, even when I'm not. Even if a sermon kind of like, Jesus is like, good work, good work. Point 2 was a little weak, but love it. Jesus is always your biggest fan because he gets you. He understands. He lived a human life as well. Segue to this. Today, my guess is you're going to watch yet another Super Bowl when the Minnesota Vikings are not present. and you're going to feign interest, and you're going to make up games, and you're going to wonder what's going to happen, but you're going to watch commercials, right? Usually it's the best part of the game, or at least the things we pay closest attention. Well, there is a marketing campaign that's been going on for quite a while that's entitled He Gets Us. This anonymous group has already spent a lot of money advertising on football games. I watch every football game I have time for, and I have to say, when I've seen this, because I'm a theologian, all of a sudden I'm watching this nationally televised football game, and all of a sudden it says, Jesus was a refugee. I'm like, what? That's not a beer commercial. Then they had another one that said that Jesus was a rebel, that he fought against the authority. And I know my Bible, that's right. And you know what? Jesus was a refugee. 2 for 2. Another one, Jesus is inclusive. They have people of color, they have people getting along, not getting along, and I'm thinking, whoa, Jesus is in the NFL. Today they're going to have 2 spots. This anonymous group is going to spend $20 million for today. And you know, because we have red and blue and all those other things, is that we have kerfuffles going on because those who go and look on the internet, the people who are anonymous, they think they know who it is, and chances are they're evangelicals, because evangelicals will certainly spend more money than the company I work for to talk about Jesus. And because of that, all this discussion about, well, is it right? Should we believe it? And the only one who's really laughing in the end is the devil. Because a bunch of people who believe in Jesus are fighting about whether or not somebody should be talking about Jesus. Now, I'll tell you this, is that for me, the jury is still out. I've been a theologian for 30-some years. I don't fall for anything. I know that there are a lot of churches out there who don't propagate the same message that we have. However, this group is going to spend $1 billion over the next 3 years telling people about Jesus. And you can agree or not agree, but I have the microphone. And I'm thinking that if they say he was a rebel, that he was an immigrant, that he understands my feelings, that he's inclusive, until I hear something that I don't believe to be true, and somebody in this zip code or somebody here or around St. Andrew hears that message and they might want to come to church, I say amen. Because as they sang, we will tell you about our Jesus. One more thing before I rest my case. Churches all across this country, all across this world, talk about their understanding of Jesus all the time. And they have ever since Jesus walked the earth. Nothing is different. But I believe that today there'll be 2 times, and if they cross that line and it doesn't build up, if it's not about serving, if it's about judging, then I'm off the bandwagon. But I don't need to hear more about Budweiser. I don't need to hear about mayonnaise. I don't need to hear about someone who's going on vacation. I and other people need to hear about Jesus. And if they come here, we will say, all are welcome, all are valued. And if more come, I say amen. My mom. How long am I going to talk about my mom? Until I retire. And then I'm going to tell people at the coffee shop. Because when I doubt myself, I think about my late mother who's in heaven going, you can do it, you can do it. I was a very interesting child to raise. And she always thought I was perfect, even though I was hard to find and hard to get into behavioral patterns. But even now I know my mom's going, you can do it, you can preach, you can lead, you can parent, you can be a husband, I know you can do it. Which leads me to Joy, and I'll be careful because she's here. But when I was married 27 years ago, I was rough. I wasn't rough I was civilized. I've always been a pretty decent bloke, but I was kind of a bag of wind. Kind of like I could say it. But whether or not I actually followed through on all the things that God gave me the tongue to say. And anything I've become, anything that I am to you, the leader that I am, I hope to be, the things I do that are right, I owe to my wife because she's made me so much better. Not always welcomed, not always fun. Feel me? But there are times when this job assails me. There are times when people assail me. And sometimes I just do things wrong. I get it. But there are times when things just happen and I have my biggest cheerleader in my wife. That's our role as spouses. When you doubt yourself, if you have a spouse who thinks you're a rock star, then channel that. And our 3 kids, they think I'm awesome. They always think I'm awesome. I always think they're awesome. And it's a mutual admiration society. They're here. I don't want to talk about it. I'll cry. I'll cry. Because they complete me. And when I doubt myself, and it's not all the time, I don't want you to think that. They're my cheering gallery. And then, to lighten it up a little bit, I have Ruby. Look at that. I am perfect to her. The only thing I do wrong is on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, I come here to work. And she's like, where are you going? But then I come back and she'll say, you're so awesome. Now, amidst the tears and sentimentality, I'm not telling you that you have to lean on my family. I'm telling you who are the people upon whom you lean. Because we doubt ourselves. But say no to your own doubt. But if that doesn't work, and sometimes it doesn't, think about the people who truly love you and say, I think you're awesome. I think you're awesome, and you can do it.